Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. Another great Friday, guys. Beautiful day. Before I start, just a quick reminder: we are having a President Sale to join our community. If you want to join a community where you be treated as a family and you want to learn, you want to grow, you can come join our community. I will post the President Day 50% sale coupon in the links. You can join it. Come for guidance and learning. Do not come for alerts, as I always say. But yes, we are running that deal over this weekend. Anyways, guys, let's back to the recap. Hope everybody is having a great long weekend. Markets are closed Monday. So we're going to recap our Friday trades. I'm going to spend a lot of time today on SMCI, explain how we traded it, and also talk a little bit about the whole SMCI move and the trader psychology around that. So we will discuss that. Before I start, just a quick introduction for anybody who's new to my channel, new to my Twitter or my community. Quick introduction. So these are the recaps from my trades or from trades that my traders in my community are taking, or their ideas, my ideas, everything that's being traded on our trading floor. This is our trading floor from the community, and any idea that I share on Twitter. So we try to recap them. We try to see how we made money, how we lost money. We do not trade random. We trade repeatable setup, repeatable system, day in, day out. We have a set of 1450 repeatable setups for day trading that we trade every day. And of course, if there are some swings or investments, we have those repeatable setups as well. We discuss them separately. Every day my team wakes up 1 hour before, a few hours actually, before the market open, and we go through all the news sources, pre-market movers 1, 2, 3. You can see all that here: analyst upgrades, downgrades, hot list. We go through everything, and then I create a watch list, a game plan for my community. You can see this watch list for today right here: TTD coin, AMAT, Roku, DoorDash, DKNG, one of the top ones, and you can see SMCI right there at number 4. That was our plan for today. And then we also create levels for everyone. We create the levels so for the marketplace, SPY, QQQ, IWM, so everybody could trade using these levels on their own based upon our defined Ripster EMA Cloud rules. And these are the levels. You can pause, screenshot, and you can see how they panned out. If you see, if you just take this for example, SMCI pivot, 1000 support, 1041. Once those were gone, it's a short. If you follow the rules. So this is how these levels work. You can pause it and see, and we do this every day. So I create these levels every day for my community. Today we also had a separate sheet for our day 2 setups. This was our day 2 setups today. Nothing special there. Today TWLO was the main short out of those day 2s. So we have a plan, we have a list, and I share my trading view watch list as well with my community. I also shared it this Friday on Twitter with everyone. So we have a plan, we have a bias, and when day starts, I'm on voice for a few hours and I guide everybody through the market, what's moving, what's not moving. If I'm taking any trade, I share it with my community and I guide them on any other ideas and from our game plan and watch lists which are working up or down. So that's how we trade. Anyways, that was introduction, guys. So you know how I work, how my community work, our traders in our community work. And now I'm going to start with the first play of the day for this recap. So guys, let's start with SMCI. All right, so everybody knows, if you go to SMCI daily chart, what it has been doing for since long time. So you see SMCI daily chart, it has been, since it's broke out of this 300 level, and if I go to weekly chart, it has been straight up. It has been straight up since first week of January, and it has gone from $300 to $1,000, $1,100. And everybody wanted to short it. As an amateur trader has been trying to short it. I know many traders who have been DMing me that they lost their savings shorting it. Somebody thought 500 is too high. Somebody thought 600 is too high. Somebody thought 700 is too high. And nothing is too high. And it can keep going as long as the trend doesn't change. And trend changed today, and I will show you that in a minute. But my point was, and we traded, as you see my previous recaps, we traded it long. Every day we traded it long, you know. You know, because the psychology of a normal trader is that if something is too high, that's the reason to short. That's not reason to short, because that is not your setup. You know, that is not really a setup. It's just that you think, you know, that it's too high, it can't go higher. So you short at 500, you short at 600. You're just trying to find the top, right? But so what changed? So what changed yesterday? What changed yesterday was $1,000, right? $1,000 is a big psychological level, huge psychological level. That was the $1,000. You know, everybody, even I had a plan, you know, that I told everybody that we will watch $1,000. We even tried to see if $1,000 rejection comes yesterday and we can short it yesterday, but there was no rejection yesterday. I had some lotos up and down, but I also mentioned to my community that we can push and then we can flush. We can push over 1,000 and then we can flush back. Yesterday the market makers, they held it up, they managed it well. But this morning, you know, we look at our levels and plan. This morning when it came back under the 1,000, there was no going back up. That's it, right? You saw that, this level from yesterday. So there's a lot of powers behind this, you know, option players, market makers, gamma, and you know, so there's so many things, right? So everybody was hoping that if it breaks 1,000, it's gonna keep going. So when 1,000 breaks, the investor or the long term, he thinks that's it, 1,000 is a top, because 1,000 is a psychological level. So he starts selling, then shorts start to come in. Then the market makers who sold the calls, they are relieved, you know, because all those calls are going to go zero, and it's just a trigger, and after that it's just a trigger, and this is the time you short it, you know. So what was the difference today from other days? Let's look at 1 hour chart. Like I explained on my video, because the thing is, when you try to short it without a system, without a technical knowledge, you are just, you know, trying to get destroyed. That's what you're trying to do. But we don't do that. If you watch, look at this 1 hour chart, right? So I can zoom it a little bit more for you. If you see, starting from January 19th, when it was 330 bucks, the stock never came under 3450 EMA Clouds. So this is the uptrend. So this is the crux that I teach you of Ripster EMA Cloud system. So it never really did it. It touched, bounced, touched, bounced, touched, bounced, touched, bounced, touched, bounced. So never, not even a single day, it came under the 3450 EMA Cloud trend. So what happens today? Today, not only it breaks 1,000, it also breaks 3450 EMA Ripster Cloud for the first time. And what happens? Even after that break, it fades another $120. Right, and then there's this bear flag, which I'll show you. We traded in the middle day. I will analyze the intraday trading on that. So that's when you load the puts, right? And how you trade, either you trade shares, then you know your risk is $1,000. If you short shares, is $1,000. If you short options, which I'll talk about that in a minute, let me first show you what I've been talking about, you know, yesterday. Even yesterday, I put a tweet out that it's my friendly advice that do not short. You know, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. When the trend changes, you will have enough time. And today trend changed, you had enough time. You know, you had a lot of time to short it today. Even if you missed the initial flush, although we caught a lot of it. I personally missed the right entry because I was busy in other trades, but I'll show you how our community literally nailed it. So do not blow before that. If somebody already lost his money trying to short SMCI till today, he couldn't do anything because he blew up his account already, and he just saw SMCI in front of his eyes flushing and the puts going 1000%, and he couldn't do nothing because he squeezed himself up when the stock was going from 300 to 400, 500, 600, 700, thinking it's too high and not utilizing any system. Even today, when we were shorting it, we were risk managing it. I covered it yesterday in my video as well. We were risk managing. How we were risk managing? So how did we risk manage, right? First, let's go and look at what was our plan, right? So my plan was neutral. My plan was neutral when I came in today. That's what I gave it. There was a lot of support pivots. Our support pivot was 1030 was a big support pivot, 1040, and of course there's a 1000 psychological level. 1080 was our resistance, 1120 was another resistance, and 1080 of course was the top of the day. In the pre-market it couldn't get over that, and same one was the top of the day, and it breaks that area of 1040 right here and 1030s and EMA Clouds. It breaks that, it pulls back and it swipes back up, and that's when you think maybe it's not today, right? And it swipes back up, but this area becomes your high conviction point. It goes back up, but it could never get over 1080, the level from pre-market. And when it breaks here this time, that's it. And that's what I told everybody. I said, you know, even like when this happened at 10 a.m. so I told everybody that you scalp, you know, it was heavy at open. I could see the heaviness, but then it swiped back. But look at this volume. So you see this volume. Look at the volume on this candle and this candle, and that was it. Everybody was stopping out. Everybody was stopping out there. And how you trade is you take the put options, and any put options you take, you assume 100% risk. You can't take a put option anywhere here and it bounces on you, you stop out, and then it keeps fading on. If I am taking a $9 option or a $1 or like $5 option, you know, then if I'm taking one contract for $9, then I assume that my $9 are going to be either zero or they're going to be $5,000, right? And that's what happened. You know, I closed my think swim. I would have shown you that. That's what happened. The puts went from, you know, of course, some puts went from like $2-3 to, you know, $30-40 for, you know, 2,000-3,000%. But even in a regular option on 900 puts or anything like that you were trading, that went from 1,000 to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. But you assume 100% risk. You're ready to lose on your Lotto option all of that you invested, and you're ready to make 300-400%. So that's why it doesn't mean that you load up your account, big account, all of it. You analyze your risk reward. Other way to do it, you buy long term, 3 months out puts, you know, if your account permits, for, you know, $900,000 in the money or something, and let it work. And that was the plan yesterday. And that's a little, again, good risk reward analysis. So today when this breakdown happened, I saw that this is breaking the EMAs. I knew that we are going to get much more. I knew it's not getting done, because even after breaking there, okay, 50 EMA breaks. I teach you again and again the importance of 50 EMA. It flushes here to 880, and then it creates this bear flag. If you look at you know, overall 1 hour chart, bear flag. And I told everybody in the community, you know, there's a lot of discussion on SMCI all day in community. We were talking about, I was on the voice guiding everybody that what's going to be and what's going to be. And once this level is gone, you know that it's going to 800, right? If you can see my targets I was giving everybody was you know, 820 was my first target. I told everyone in the voice that if it breaks, then it's going to go into 820 or 800. Those were my two targets, 820s and 800s, and you know, we met both of them. And we scalped a lot of you know, we scalped a lot of those. So I was 800 target on the way, and even on this breakdown, a lot of these puts went 300-400% on this particular breakdown. So you see how the community was all doing good with the guidance, because we were trading using a proper risk reward analysis, and not just blindly getting crazy, oh, we are going to make crazy money. No, not like that. So look what I said today. If you had puts still lost, then problem is your execution. Why? Because if you can't make money on a stock that tanked $200, then something is wrong with you. Yes, you could have easily got chopped in here, right? But you wait for the bounce to add a put, and you add more on the bear flag breakdown. If you just add puts and stop out, add puts, stop out, add puts, stop out, that is the problem with your execution. You are not respecting, like I said yesterday, you can't have five, or I told in the video yesterday, you know, that you can't have the $3 or $4 stop on SMCI. That's not how it works. You need to give it room, right? If you added a put here, let's one person added a 800 put for $3-4 and it bounced, he stopped out for 50% and he lost money. The other person held it for $5, it didn't cut because he assumed 100% risk. Either it goes to zero and his put went 600% and he made money. So that is a difference between a bad execution and a good execution. If you're trading puts, now if you're trading shares, then your level is clear, you know, that EMAs you have to risk, right? Low of this 10-minute candle, high of this 10-minute candle, these can be served as your risks, right? But again, on shares you have to risk bigger, right? You can't just like risk tiny. Your risk has to be really big. And I said, if you lost being long, then there's a problem because you don't really have a system. Why would I long SMCI today? I will not long SMCI today. No. 10-minute bearish, 1 hour bearish, daily big bearish candle. Why would I long it? Look at the volume of sellers here, first two candles. And then if you executed puts, good job, like a lot of people in our community. But if you missed, don't feel bad. There's going to be a lot of other trades in future. Rather than that, be ready next time, because otherwise you will always have an excuse that you missed out. And don't be a sorry figure for yourself. Don't feel sad for yourself, or you know that, oh, I missed, I always miss, you know, my luck is like this. No, that's a bad mentality. It's not done yet. SMCI is going to give you a lot of more opportunities. Yes, today was Friday. We had a lot of Lotto options, cheaper options, so it was good to trade. Remember, NVIDIA earnings is coming up. Can we sell the news after the earnings? So a lot of opportunities ahead, guys. And yeah, hope this analysis of SMCI short help you guys out. You know, understand the multiple time frame analysis, understand what rule can you use to short these parabolic movers, understand the concept of 1K psychological level, you know, understand the 1 hour trend, understand the option market makers, how they try to one rule I want to mention is anything that gets too extended from EMA Clouds, like from 5 or 4 EMA, it will pull back. So more the extension from EMAs, chances are of it's pulling back, right? So so we'll see how it goes to Tuesday. We will be in the community trading it. So let's move to the next one. So next one we are going to discuss, guys, from our watch list is Roku. So what was the plan on Roku? Let's go back, look at our plan. The plan on Roku was bearish to neutral. If 77 holds, we look for B minus bounce. If it rejects the fail of 77, gives us 74. So the planning was all done in the pre-market, that what we're going to do. So that was the plan on Roku, guys. And as you see here, Roku rejected heavy. And I told everybody that short the pops into 78 area. If 76 breaks, will confirm. 76 will break, will confirm. And that's it. You can see the live guidance here. Full guidance from 76, 77 all the way to 71. $5 short on Roku. You can see all the price alerts going on to keep the community. These price alerts tell the community when the key levels are breaking down. All day guidance on Roku, guys. Puts went really 150% there. So was really nice trade on Roku. Let's go to the next one. So TTD was not really so clean today. I was actually short right at open. I added short. I'll show you. So I added short because it was breaking down, but right away they swiped it, and right away I covered it. You can see, and then I covered it. Then I switched long. Short out, switch long. Because I know it was squeezing. It was trapping other shorts like me, and my first target was 94, and so we were long, and within 3-4 minutes we met the 94 target, and I sold some there. So it was kind of a quick trade. I sold some here because it doesn't seem like that, but there was a lot of range if expanded. So took like a $1.50 loss, but made it back in this push, sold half, and then market was weak, and then I got out of the position because it was bouncing, but market was weak, and basically just recovered the loss. But again, it was very choppy. It was not a clean setup because market was heavy and it was coming down, and then it pulls back, and then I get out, and then I tell everybody we can just show, fade the pops, and fade the pops. That was at 949. It was fading, but I mean it was just $1, $2 up, and it was so choppy, and it was good if you scalped it, but then it held, and then I was giving warning that it's holding. If a short is not going to work, it's already pulled back in the gap a little bit, and it's bouncing. You see the big wicks, and then I just stopped out. I got out. It was kind of like a break even overall TTD today for me. Luckily I got long, and that was a good long trade at open, as you see here. But then it's the stop. This doesn't work. Again became bullish, and then it again pushed a couple of points after becoming bullish. But for me, I don't want to trade this. When I trade, I want to see lower highs, clean action, right? This action is not what I want to see. It's okay for scalping, quick trades, but we'll watch it day 2 on Tuesday. All right, guys, QQQ. Let's look at QQQ. QQQ was short in the morning when this morning QQQ was heavy, and this is the first thing I tell everybody when we get up and we trade it. We market is about to open. I analyze the SPY QQQ and let my community know on the voice that what is the trend, what can we do. The trend was bearish right at open, and how could we trade that bearish trend at open? We showed the puts. Not short the puts, sorry. We short the market with the puts, or you can short long as ETFs, bear ETFs, or you can short the bull ETFs, right? And it was just bearish. It faded from where I told everybody to short. 434 puts went 50%, they went 100%, and then we faded from 434 all the way to 430. And remember the 10 a.m. rule, that's where we cover, bounced at 10 a.m. Here you can see the time stamped guidance on QQQ on the morning shorts. So that was a nice trade in the morning for us, so there's a timestamp guidance. Let's go to the next. All right, guys, let's look at Nike. So Nike was there was layoffs, and it was cutting more than 1,500 jobs. Neutral to bearish bias. We'll watch. No long under 104 level. You can clearly see my game plan, my instructions in the pre-market, and after that all you had to do was follow the plan. Short Nike. I let everybody know that short under 104, targets is 101 and 100. We met close to 101 target, and then when it curled, we got out again. So that's how you do. It fades, you lock a little bit, then you leave 1/3 or 1/4. If you meet 100, that's fine. If you don't meet 100, when it curls, you get out. It's that simple. Beautiful trade, Nike. Let's look at AMAT, guys. So what is AMAT? So AMAT was a setup for us. AMAT was had an earning setup. So let's go news plan. So AMAT plan was simple. 210 was a resistance, 204, 200 was support. I said if breaks 204, it can pull to 200. That's what I told everybody in the pre-market. And let's see what happened, right? What happens? It's bearish under the cloud. I can show you more in 3 minutes, so it's more clear to you. So if you see here, right it open, pulled back, bounced, rejected, faded back under 204, and it faded from 204 all the way to 197, right? So your entry should be ideally on the bounce. Either you are short right away, because your risk is this area, this 204 that we mentioned, and this clouds is your risk. It was a big range, it's a big 10-minute range, but it was a decent fade from here, right? And you can see my guidance on AMAT. I usually, when something is triggering, and I try to guide everybody in my community that what's the next steps. At 9:40 I told them that scalp shorts on the pops, and then it faded to 200. So that was a nice winner there. Let's look at the next one. FSLY, we discussed yesterday's video, was still bearish. It was our day 2 setup. It was a day 2 setup on FSLY. Let's see FSLY right here from the watch list. Day 2 short, watch the pops. I told everyone pop, short it from 16 to 1543, another pop, 16 to 1532. Yeah, let's look at coin. I lost in the morning on the coin on the breakout trade. It did not work, and I tried to get this breakout move and it failed right away. And then it was, it was a short. We tried to short it, but then it was choppy, it became bullish again. Then there was no short. So coin was loser for me. Again, this kind of action is usually which leads to a loser. Up down, you're good with the scalps, but no more, not more than that. You could have traded the scalp from 194, but never really kept these wicks, guys. These wicks is a problem. You want to see lower highs, lower lows. So yeah, coin another loser, second loser for me today. But another one that made up for the coin was MSTR, guys. So MSTR was a short all day today from our watch list. We have MSTR every day. I said watch over the over under the clouds. That was simple. 700, 707 was support pivots, resistance was 750. Over under cloud means under the cloud it's bearish. You can see it's clearly under the clouds, and and then it just faded right away from that point. Let's look at Dropbox, guys. Dropbox was also from our watch list, bearish to short the pops. I told everybody in the pre-market game plan. 2761 was another level, and there was a resistance up top, and all it did was faded all day, right? All day fade on Dropbox, nothing special. It was easy setup. I was focused a lot on Roku, so I couldn't trade like 5 trades, but easy game plan. The level I mentioned broke here, you short here, risked high of the pre-market, and then you just hold as long as this trend holds. Remember what I tell you, if a trend line is there, you hold it. Look at this beauty trend line. You do not cover until the trend line moves up. Let's look at Lily, guys. Lily was another great guidance in community. Win was on top of Lily since morning, and I gave a Lily breakout in middle of day. A lot of people did really good on Lily today. So let's see what was the setup on Lily. So initially there was no setup. When this was the 3450 cloud bounce, this was the Lily setup. I personally traded this breakout. I told everybody that Lily is 180 breakout, is 780 breakout is coming. On the voice I told everyone that you see everybody in the community, they know it. Even Matt was watching the 780 breakout, because we know we do this every day, so everybody knows that that's our teaching, how to trade these things. So even before I say something, the traders in my community, they are already talking about it, right? And you can see here since morning Win has been talking about the MS upgrade, and and then the dip on the clouds and the breakout. This was the breakout I told about, and it was easy peasy trade. Nothing crazy about it. So you see Saturday did so good in Lily. He did 725%, and it was good, right? So everybody we traded there on Lily, and yeah. So you see that Randy did 100% on Lily, and Shorty did so good. Sean, Jaswinder, Arjun Valley. That's nice, funny. But anyways, you see how many opportunities we have, right? And that was the from 780 went to all the way to 794. All right, guys, let's look at TWLO. So TWLO was day 2 short, right? It was a part of our day 2 plan. TWLO was day 2 60 75 61 60. These are the rules for day 2 that I give my everyone. 61 60 and 60 75. And once TWLO broke that 60 75, that was it, guys. It was just short. There was no looking back, just pure short all day TWLO. So this VKTX was a news play setup, guys. Just want to point out, our bot, our news bot gave the alert at 12:02. It went from, it was all the clouds breaking the bid flag. You put stops under the clouds or last of the 10-minute candle. There was no move since our news bot started to talk about it, and we traded it from 33, 32, actually 32, 40 bucks all the way to 37 today on that rumor. You see Jairam did good, and VKTX, Ramshekhar did good on VKTX alert. These are the opportunities you get with the community, right? And it's also a long-term play. VKTX was my long-term play. A good friend of mine was a biotech expert, was long on it, and I gave it to my swing tracker community in the Tenet. So it's also one of our bio trackers. If you go to if you go to notes, if you see, go to the bio tracker, and you can find VKTX right here, guys, right here. So yeah, so the point is, it's also a long-term play and big winner intraday as well. Let's look at last one here, YELP. So YELP was bearish bias to short the pops, 39, 37, 41, and that's it. Pushes to the pop, you short it. Guys, it's always repeatable. And you see when I say short the pop, and that's what happened. You short the pop from here to here, that's it. That's how you make things repeatable, guys. That's how you make things repeatable. Just a quick talk about Dash. Dash was fade at open, but it started to make this recovery middle of the day. You can see that Dash was making that recovery, and that's when I set up a API alert that 512 is recovering right here. You see that, and from that 112.30 it went all the way to 116. So this was a midday curl setup, 512 curl, that I teach so many times. 512 curl was the name of this setup. Beautiful setup as well. DoorDash. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'll see you guys Tuesday. I'll try to put another video, and don't forget to make use of our President Day sale, 50% off. Join our community. See you guys later. Bye bye.